Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting into? I hear you ask. We are now getting into the next episode of Married at First Sight Australia series 12. We are now on episode 11. But before we get into that episode, as I always do, you know I do, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so we know when I do videos. Please comment, like, share and do all the good things that you do because I continue to be on the road to 1k. Now we get into this episode. And all I can say is, my God, yeah. Ryan has a red flag number 3 in this episode. Let me just put it this way. And Morena, and I like Morena, just ends up having a red flag. Yeah, has a red flag. Yeah, first time for a woman on this show that she's got a red flag for me since I've been watching it. She's got a red flag. And I'll get to why. I will get to why. So now, as you see in this episode, it's the men's turn to see Alessandra. You see that Paul and Karina after Ultimate Fantasy Night was happy. Rhea and Jeff are in a good place too. And Jamie and Dave are in a good place too. We then have Sierra and Billy. And they are in a weird space right about now. Sierra is full on wanting their sexual sex from Billy, yeah. But Billy keeps on saying to her that, you know what, sometimes less is more, but she's not taking heed on that at all, yeah. He wants more of an emotional connection with her as well. He's saying to the producers, he's saying to the camera that he really likes the bones of this woman, but he's not telling her what's going on, so she is painting a picture in her mind as to why this man has stopped wanting to touch her or be intimate with her. That's how she's seeing it at the end of the day. She's seeing it as something is wrong with her, and she's seeing it as, yes, they're having a laugh and a joke, yes, they're bouncing off each other that way, but she's thinking they're jumping into the friend zone, or Billy does no longer has a spark with her, when that is not essentially the case at the end of the day. Jackie and Ryan, I'm going to say today, are on another playing field entirely. I don't think that there's any coming back from them at all. And I'll be very surprised and shocked if they do come back from this. But we will continue on. So it seems Morena and Tony this morning are on an even keel again, which I'm happy for. However, Morena's talking about how she needs more of a connection with Tony. And Tony's talking about, like, you know, he's getting ready to go off and see Alessandra. So Morena decides to give him words of encouragement. I understand that she's trying to be positive with this guy, but there's sometimes when I'm just like, Morena, just stop. Like, seriously, he doesn't need all of this. And I don't understand how she cannot read the cues on this man's face when he is shutting down, because you see it. Like, we're watching the program, you literally see when this man is starting to shut off and wants her to shut up, but she don't heed it. Like, seriously, she doesn't. It goes to Jackie and Ryan, and Jackie thinks, like, you know, she is there to train Ryan, which is the wrong mindset altogether. Ryan's not a fucking training dog. He's not a dog. You're not there to freaking train this man at the end of the day. He's at the grand old age that he's at. And I don't think certain aspects of him he's going to change. And he's not going to take it kindly that this woman sees him as some type of training experiment for her to be the type of man that she wants him to be. Because if she's looking at Ryan as, I've got to train him or I've got to change him, then she's with the wrong man completely. Like, completely with the wrong man. So Ryan thinks he gave Jackie a lot of compliments. Mate, I was like, you read back her CV. So he's saying she wanted him to change his answer in terms of the photo ranking challenge. And that's not what Jackie was saying at all. And this is why I said Ryan does not get it. He really doesn't. So Ryan is right though. Jackie did only put Ryan first, thinking that she would get the same back from him, but she didn't. She didn't at all. She didn't put Ryan first because she liked him, because I don't think Jackie really is that attracted to Ryan, and I don't think Ryan is that attracted to Jackie either. So they actually do get into a full-on argument before he leaves to go and see Alessandra as he's getting ready. And neither one of them is listening to each other at the end of the day, because Jackie wants her way and Ryan is refusing to give in. So they're basically at a stalemate right now. And the question has to be asked again, why are these two together, and better yet, why are they still remaining together? Because literally my head hurts listening to them, like seriously does. Jackie wants constant compliments all the time, all day, every day, and I would say that's not natural. That is not natural. No one can have consistent compliments all day, every day, because it's freaking tiring to do that. It's absolutely tiring, and I'm at this point where I think Jackie may need therapy, and Ryan, well, I just don't know what he needs right now, but he needs to do something with himself and his mouth at the end of the day. So we go to Afuina and Adrian. We see that they're freaking arguing, like they're literally have a down and out, drag out argument, and of course, Adrian is not prepared to listen to Afuina. He basically wants to put it all on Afuina, but he's not listening to her in the slightest, and thinking that he doesn't have to get involved with the discussion that they're having right now. So basically, as petty as it is, the argument you would say is over dishes, wherein Adrian's gone in, washed his own dishes, but left the 3 dishes that Afuina left in the sink. And I thought that is fucking stupid as all freaking get out at the end of the day, because that would say to me that you are thinking in the singular. You are not thinking you're married to this woman. So basically you're only dealing with your own shit. You're not dealing with hers because she's just your roommate that you have sex with. That's how I'm going to see that at the end of the day. So I honestly don't believe that it's down to dishes. I honestly believe that Afuina must be missing her son at some point, yeah. And I also think as well that Afuina's probably scared to the point of it could be only potentially be a physical between them, because this man is not even at a point of accepting her son in any type of capacity. And that must be hella fucking stressful and worrying all at the same time. Apparently, as Adrian put it, Afuina is having a moment. When men say things like that about women, I'm just like, dude, you really don't understand women at all. And you don't really want to. Like, you don't really want to. I don't know who gave you that idea that, you know, because a woman gets upset, frustrated, angry, or shows any type of emotion, they're having a moment. Next, you'll be saying, oh, it's PMT. That's what he probably would say. That's probably what having a moment meant for Adrian at the end of the day. So he can't understand why she's getting mad. He doesn't want to get involved. And basically, Afuina's saying that she's getting mad because this man don't want to do nothing around the house. Like, his only task in that house is to put the bin out, and even then he don't do it, and it's all Afuina doing it. That's why I thought something more's going on here, because this shit is kind of pathetic to argue about. I know that it happens. I know that it gets to the point where it's like, look, I've asked you time and time again and you are not doing it, and then it kind of escalates from there. I just don't know how dismissive Adrian was of Afuina at the end of the day. When he's turning around and saying, well, it's not my problem. Yeah, it is your problem. You're married to her. It's your problem. So Afuina thinks Adrian is not giving 100, and I said that in the previous episode that he's not giving her 100% at all. Adrian is a selfish little shit, and that's what that's the environment that he's growing up to be. That's what I think he's growing up to be. Like, he's a twin with his twin brother, and he's got his twin sisters, and I think the lads, the way that Adrian carries on, very much coveted by the mother. Very much, oh, you're a lad, you don't need to do that, you don't need to do these, don't you worry, I've got it for you, and not really had much in the way of basic life skills, to be honest with you, is what I would say. So, but the fact of it is, what it comes down to is, the crux of it is, Afuina still continuing to sleep with this man, knowing that she's got problems with him. This man has shown her exactly who he is consistently, time and time again, but she continues to sleep with this man. Like, continues to sleep with this man, knowing that he is this way. And that's all I'm going to say in that. That is all I'm going to say in that. So we see the men go and see Alessandra. So Alessandra wanted to talk to them about the task at hand and the nights that they had. Paul was so happy in terms of Karina taking charge, and you can see that for him, so there's nothing to write home about there. We go to Tony, and Tony was actually quite happy. He absolutely loved everything that Morena did. He was comfortable doing the task that Morena had set out with Morena. Tony was getting emotional, and you could see that as well. He noticed now that his wife wanted romance, and he said he was not giving it to her, so he gave it to her. So basically he was saying that he felt that he was letting Morena down, basically. So he said it made him see Morena's beauty. And I thought to myself, I hope Ryan's listening to this as they're going around the men and they're talking about the fact that their women are absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, and they're expressing that. Ryan can't express that with Jackie at the end of the day. Ryan's a selfish little shite, along with Adrian. Adrian's a selfish little shite too. So Jeff talked about, he had nice things to say in regards to Rhea and the situation that they've got into. And he just talked about now they have a friendship that he's trying to turn into a relationship, because they had essentially, after their couple of months with each other, had friend zoned each other. So it's kind of hard to turn that around, but they are absolutely trying. So then when we went to Billy, this man inhaled for the longest, and I thought, oh shit, here it goes. What have you got to say, Billy? So Billy said, like, in terms of Sierra and what she put down, he said that was a snippet, but he believes there's a lot more to come. But the way in which he was stressing himself when he was saying these things with Sierra, like, he was trying to come across as though him and Sierra had this fantastic night, it was beautiful and she was gorgeous and da-da-da-da-da, but he didn't really talk about how the fact that he'd made a pig's ear out of that night, to be honest with you. He didn't really show his wife that she was gorgeous to him. He ended up pulling back instead, because he was in a situation he didn't necessarily want to be in, because he didn't want it to be all about the sex, where he's thinking Sierra is a little bit too full on, but he wants her to pull back a little bit at the end of the day. So these two are on completely different pages altogether, is what I was thinking. And neither one of them are talking about how they're feeling about the current situation at all. They're not talking about it at all, and that's the issue. So I just felt that when Billy was talking about it with Alessandra, he was glossing over it by making it seem what it wasn't in front of the men at the end of the day. So Billy then does talk about the fact that he wants this emotional connection, and he doesn't want the sex to mess that situation up. So Alessandra says to him, you don't want to be friend zoned either, because if you get to that point, there's no turning back at the end of the day. And she spoke to him, which was true. You could still be intimate, you can still have sex, but you have to talk about the situations that are happening at the same time to get back on that same page, and that's what he needs to pick up on. So then we go to Ryan. This man is all smiles. Yeah, he is so arrogant, and he annoys the fuck out of me right now. Let me just put it that way. So this man said, right, Jackie wanted me to make her feel like the most beautiful woman in the world. You're saying this to a group of men, and Alessandra, the therapist, they don't see an issue with that. I didn't see an issue with that. I don't think anybody in that room saw an issue with that. So Ryan was trying to play it like he was lavishing Jackie with all this praise, and I thought, Ryan, no, you didn't. Don't lie all your life. Ryan is now trying to lay a narrative that did not happen at the end of the day, for him to come up smelling like roses and for Jackie to look like the asshole at the end of the day. So Ryan brings up Jackie, saying to him, oh, I want you to atone for your mistake, and he talks about the photo challenge. I thought the way this man is rewriting the script is beyond me. Like, he is a little Master Flex type of freaking situation, literally rewriting the whole verbiage, like literally. So Ryan starts saying what he said, and then he laughed and casually said, and then the crazy eyes came out. I thought, dude, He used an insult that Jake used in order to bring Jackie down. An insult that hurt his wife, by the way, when it did come out. She was very upset by that she wouldn't speak about it. And then he used it in a room full of men, expecting them all to laugh and kiki and ha-ha. The men were even like looking at him as if to say, mate, what? What did you say? I said, this is the real Ryan, and this is red flag number 3. Red flag number 4 is coming. I saved the red best till last, let me put it that way. He turned around and he said, try living with it. Let me get my head top straight, because fuck. This man is laughing like he's joking, and nobody's joking with this man. Everybody's looking at him as if to say, are you literally sitting here, literally insulting your wife in front of all of us right now? Like, seriously, dude. And they were shocked and dismayed in terms of what he was saying, and Ryan was not reading the room. Ryan was not reading the room. Nobody was laughing with this dude, and he was not reading the room. So Alessandra had to ask him, what do you mean, crazy eyes, Ryan? So he talks about how Jackie's, when she wants to discuss something, and he says that she can get quite intense, and she does get quite intense. Ain't no lie about that. Any woman would when discussing the shit that need to discuss with Ryan, and Ryan throws back the shit that he throws back to Jackie, to her. So she's going to get intense. He says she was disrupting the fun mood. And I thought, oh my God, I can see what's going to happen, and it's going to get a lot worse than what it is right now. Ryan is not going to stop. He is literally on a merry-go-round, and oh my God, this is a train wreck. An absolute train wreck. So Alessandra said to him, she gets why Jackie being that way, in terms of her wanting to be validated by him, yeah, because she got emotional on the confessions of the couch because Ryan didn't find her attractive, and she wanted that validation from him to say that he found her attractive. So she said Jackie wants to feel adored. She wants to feel beautiful to her partner. She wants to feel wanted, and all the other men agreed that yes, that shouldn't be an issue at the end of the day. So Ryan said he was disappointed because it was all based on beauty. I thought this dude might as well just tell the whole group that he finds his wife hideous, that he finds his wife not attractive to him at this point, because Ryan absolutely missed the point of the freaking task. And I just thought, my God, you can't be that obtuse right now, because you're coming off so bad. You're coming off so bad right now to everybody in that room, and if you honestly think that this shit is not going to get back to Jackie, then you might as well think of fucking get, my friend. So Ryan basically talked about how he wanted to do something else. Why couldn't they have done that? Why couldn't they have done this? The lads did not have his back in the slightest. They were silent as well. But you could see Dave's face literally really wanted to say something, but he held back. So Alessandra told Ryan, I made it clear the task was not about any of you in this room, but the women. So Ryan says, in response to that, but all I would say is she gives good, and they bleeped it out. And I thought, this man turned around and said that Jackie gives good head. He turned around and said, it didn't go the way that they wanted it to, but my wife gives good head. That makes up for it. Because my guy, clean up on aisle 9. Clean up on aisle 9. Cause man down. Man down. This man went so far as to say, she's a 10 out of 10. It's so hot. I think I've run out of red flags for this dude. Because once Jackie finds out this, she's gonna whiplashing him into fucking next week. She's gonna fucking dismember that man. Like, seriously? was stunned. This was stunned. I was stunned. Jesus. Session ended. The grooms went back, and we know that, you know what, once they go back, the tongues are gonna be flapping. The girls got told. Jackie ain't been told yet. The girls were reeling from Ryan's comments, like, honestly. Dave was pissed as hell, and he shared this with Jamie, that he was pissed at himself too because he didn't say something, and you could see he was literally gearing up to say something, but he held it back. So I know when the dinner party comes, Dave ain't gonna hold it back this time. He really is not. Ryan is going to be in the motherfucking hot seat, and Jackie's going to see exactly the type of man that she is married to, because he was this hey. Because no. And you see, as they're talking about it, Ryan is in the flat making nice and laughing and joking with Jackie. Like, laughing and joking with this girl after he done said what he said. Fuck my life. Fuck my entire life. So then we see Morena and Tony. And Tony comes in all excited, like, Morena, as he walks through the door, and wanted to tell Morena about his day, yeah. And then she does it a fucking again. Like, she talks over him about a stupid book that she's reading, yeah. And I'm just like, woman, come on, read the damn room, seriously. And this is what made Tony pull away in the first place. She doesn't allow him space, So Tony says, just a second, I've just walked in. And he tells her deep breath, because she wants to read him an excerpt out of the book that she's reading. And she says it's only short. So he placates her. He sits and he listens to her. And you can see that Tony is literally withdrawing again. So Tony does tell the producers, this is something that I don't like. He says, but I'm just like, it's no use telling the producers each and every time she does this shit, yeah. You need to literally fess up and say this to her, that she is not allowing him space to actually talk or be excited to talk to her. Because I honestly don't believe Morena is doing this on purpose. I think she is literally ignorant to what it is that the hell she's doing, like, seriously. But someone needs to talk to her about it and pull her up on it at the end of the day. So Tony does, rather than talking to Morena about it at first, starts to withdraw. He says he's tired, needs space, so he goes to the kitchen, starts making himself a coffee, and Morena says to him, like, did I do something? He automatically says no. I'm just like, dude, you need to say something to this girl, because Morena is not self-aware at this moment in time of what she is doing at all. Morena still then goes back to the book to read out another expert, and Tony says, I'm done. Like, I'm done. All Tony wanted to do was talk, but she won't give him the space to do so. So he said, I have been with Alessandra and other men all day. He said, I came back here to talk to you and you are hammering at me, and then tells her to chill out. And I'm just like, why can't these men have proper conversation with their wives? Like, come on. They don't have a proper conversation with your wife. Tell her what it is that you're feeling in that instance, and don't do it out of frustration at the end of the day, because nobody is articulate once they get off frustrated, like, seriously. And all it does is come out like an insult, like bullets out of a motherfucking gun to a person's solar plexus at the end of the day. And that's all it's going to do for Morena, because it's going to set a tone with her at the end of the day. So Tony does say to Morena that, I wanted to come back and tell you about my day. He said, I came in all excited, and you know, you have this book. I said, what are you reading? And then he says that you just went off. And I just thought to myself, Tony could have come better than that. He could have approached it better than that at the end of the day. So they get into a squabble with each other. And it does end with Tony telling her sometimes she's just got to stop and let him have his say. And Morena is still sitting on the couch looking at her book. I thought at this point, these two both need space. They need space to calm down, relax, and then come back into a space of reflection and revisit the issue that they have with each other. So I thought once Tony has chilled his boots for a bit, then Morena needs to listen to what it is that he's saying. So it went from bad to worse after that, because you see Tony went out on the I want to say veranda, but it wasn't a veranda, it was the balcony, to have his coffee. Morena sat there stewing and got more angry by the second due to the fact that Tony asked her to stop talking, and she saw it as him shutting her down. As I've already said, she was in an abusive relationship, marriage for 29 years. And this is why I think Morena is the way that she is. Yeah, because she lost her voice in that marriage. Now she's saying she won't ever let that happen again. But the problem with that is she overshadows Tony all the time, and she doesn't see that. She absolutely does not see that. Yes, she's got her strength back. Yes, she's got her voice back. Absolutely motherfucking proud of her for doing that, to get out of that situation after so long. But she's still got scars from it, like absolutely got scars from it. I don't even know if she's took any therapy from it, because her communication style can be very much dismissive, toxic and ignorant at the end of the day. Like seriously. On the flip side as well, Tony does not articulate himself well at all. I don't believe that he was being abusive towards Morena when he asked her to just stop. Yeah, but that's how Morena is going to take it. So Morena walks out of the flat. So you see a new task coming, like the letter gets pushed under the door. So Jamie and Dave ended up having questions about sex, because Dave is uncomfortable talking about sex, but he was able to open himself up when he heard Jamie talking about it, because Jamie's just a laugh a minute at the end of the day. So you see Rhea and Jeff had the gazing into each other's eyes task, and Jeff was completely feeling that task. You could tell that Rhea was feeling that task as well. And as I said already, I believe that Rhea is feeling Jeff more than Jeff is feeling Rhea at this moment. Let's hope that they can get past this friendship barrier, because they do kind of look good together, to be honest with you. So next for them was to share a 2-minute make-out session. So Jeff is kind of like, he's hoping to get the spark back with that. Let's just say, I really don't like to see him on hissing up and down on my screen in the way that they did. I know people do it in movies, and I know it's scripted, but when it's unscripted, like, I really don't need to see people's kissing styles, but hey ho, we're on Married at First Sight at the end of the day. So we go back to Morena and Tony, and it's worse. It's worse than ever before. Let me just put it this way. Morena is very angry, and you can feel it. Yeah, they literally don't know how to communicate with each other at all. So Tony does say to her that, he sits down at the table while she stood up, like she stood over him. She won't even sit down. Even when he asked her, come sit down, let's talk about it, she would not sit down. So Tony has apologized to her and said to her that he was very mean to her, and he explains the context of why it came out the way in which it came out. Morena is mad, and you can see her vibrating with it, and I thought, oh Tony, this is not going to end well for you at all. I believe that Tony triggered Morena in terms of when he told her to be quiet, to stop talking. And this is the fallout from that, yeah. So that's why Tony, I would say, needs to articulate himself better, and Morena needs to be more self-aware, as not everything revolves around her at the end of the day. So Tony asked her, like, what do you want me to do? This was in response to her saying she doesn't believe his apology, and she says, as it's about actions and not words. And she does tell Tony basically what her ex did to her, and that she won't let it happen again. And all this time, Tony, you could see, had his head watching the table as he's listening to her. So Tony tried to get Morena again to sit and speak to him, and she refused. He told her she basically said to him, you told me not to talk. And she said, I'm not going to talk, but yet she's still going. Let's just put it this way. So then Morena stops talking. She takes this big gulps out of a cup. And I thought, okay, she's just wetting her whistle because she's going to go again. So Tony is telling producers that, like, you know, he hears the sadness in Morena's voice. And he knows that he was the cause of that. And he feels that he's letting her down. And you can see his essence draining from him, knowing that he's letting this woman down that he actually does like. But then the thing of it is yes, you can get to this point of contriteness, but what are you going to do to change the situation at this moment in time? Because Morena also needs to change in the way that she does things too with him. So it gets to a point where Tony talks about them having a space of 2 days from each other and he'll go back to his place. But she still refuses to speak to him. She turns around and she says, yeah, that'd be a good idea. So he says, fine. I don't think Tony really wanted to go anywhere, but Tony only raised it because of the fact that Morena said that she is going to refuse to speak to him. She is not going to speak to him. He told her not to talk. This was her words, so she's not going to talk. So I don't know how she expected this man to live in a small apartment in the way that they are, to sleep in the same bed, to share a small space and have someone there that's still mad and won't speak to you. That's a horrible space to be in. So I don't blame Tony for seeking solace for some time away, for them to think about things, reflect on things, and hopefully be able to rectify the situation between them both. Do you know what I mean? Morena is too sanctimonious at times. Like, she really can be too sanctimonious. I get she is angry, but Tony is not her ex at the end of the day. So you see Jamie, then it cuts to Jamie going and seeing Karina, and she shares like the comments that Ryan had said about Jackie. So I thought, oh, this dinner party is gonna be fucked up and lively, let's just put it that way. And I can't wait for Ryan to get his just desserts in terms of what he did towards Jackie. So you see Tony has gone to his place to collect his thoughts. So he's not left Morena. He says he's not leaving the marriage, but Morena is carrying on like Tony, like her and Tony didn't agree that they should have space, that he would leave for a couple of days. Because how can you expect a man to live in the same house with someone who's going to refuse to speak to you? It makes for a toxic environment at the end of the day. And sometimes I think Morena needs to wind her neck in, like seriously on this one, because all she had to do really was actually see how happy Tony was walking through that door to see her. And then she literally dismisses his happiness because she wants her space. She wants to command that space and not give Tony the space. Because not even out of all of that bit did she turn around and put her book down and say to him, oh, tell me about it. What happened? How was your day? How did it go? Listen to me, I'm all ears. Not once. Even after she read the first bit out and he got up, she didn't turn around to him and say, oh, how did your day go, babe? How did it go? Talk to me about it. What did Alessandra say? What came out of it? What happened? Not once in that whole conversation did she do that. Like, seriously. So Tony might as well have just been an ignored entity on that one. So Morena is now on the video phone. Say video phone. She's literally videoing herself in the empty flat by herself. And she's full of anger and misconceptions. And this is the worst time you could ever video self and have it put out there for public consumption. Yeah, when you're angry, because that shit don't age well. Like, honestly don't age well, because you're trying to make someone look bad who in essence hasn't done anything wrong at the end of the day. Again, Tony is not her ex, so she shouldn't be punishing him as such. So she says, like, to the video, she came in here to learn with someone, to build a connection with someone she doesn't know. She doesn't get why Tony wants to be with everyone else except the person he was matched with. And I was sat here thinking, I've watched two completely different shows because I don't know what the fuck she was going on with at the end of the day, because Morena's not making no sense at all. I think she just wanted a piece of drama. And I mean, Tony, at the end of the day, was willing to sit down and talk things out, but Morena refused to do so. Morena was not going to talk to that man in the same apartment. To be honest, that space would have become claustrophobic and toxic as hell, yeah, I think Tony did the right thing. And Morena agreed to it. That's the thing. So I don't get why she's carrying on in the way that she's carrying on with, that he left her high and dry. The fuck is wrong with her? Anyway, that's where that episode ended. I should be back in quick succession with the next episode because it's the dinner party, and hi, it's gonna be a mad one and a messy one. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, my renegades, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so we know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share, and do the good things that you do, because I continue to be on the road to 1K. Peace out.